Hello, everybody, and sorry about the delay. Literally, I'm doing like a guys are going live in 15, and there was like less than 10 seconds or so. And as soon as it was like less than 15 seconds, we're down to like a 10-second count, and then all of a sudden, boom, my power went
Right
down
on
on me.
guard. He just disappeared.
Yeah, it was kind of upsetting. Anyways, we don't have Neil with us today. As you guys can see, we only have the two Australian chaps. So no Neil with us today. So that's okay. I feel like this is going to enhance the show by having by having Neil gone today.
Being held against his will.
Yeah. It's just kind of how it goes. That's all right. We're gonna start with Tesh, anyways. So Tesh, I think you remembered some stuff happened last time. Sorry, Neil.
Hey, he lives.
He's talking to
He's still
himself.
muted.
He's
I'm
like,
starting my hashtag, don't worry.
oh God, what's your hashtag?
Hashtag save No, because this is fun. This is professional humor that the chat is loving.
Oh, I bet. Steve, you laughing over there?
All five of them.
Yeah, 5 of them.
Oh,
Oh,
No, there's 6 minus you lot. That's 3. So
oh,
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 oh.
oh.
rough start this morning. What happened was they watched the community game last night and they were like, "Oh, is this the kind of game you guys play? These are the people you play with? We're never coming to this channel again." All right. So, anyways, let's pick up where we were last time. 2 of you are in a field going, "Let's murder some blokes," and those blokes are like, "We gonna murder you first." And then the blokes that are with you are like, "We don't want to be here right now." And then
That is entirely inaccurate.
and Tesh is
We are
standing
in
in
a
the
field.
church. Tesh is in a church with the all supreme greatest god and all of Aurorum.
You mean I'm currently in a church with the evil version of us?
Yeah, mega us.
with somebody by the name of the Vigil, who is the leader of a town named
The
Vigil,
lunatic.
which worship a goddess known as the Vigilant, thinking to himself, their namography, naming culture, is a bit lacking, perhaps. All based off of one character from the old Mighty Max series. I don't know. So you are standing there. I think you were sitting. No, you were standing inside the church. There's a pew on either side of you, with the woman, the librarian, sitting there, and then the what's his name, the commander on the other side, and then you have her in front of you, and she comes walking over, and more or less now it is time for you to begin your reading. I think she said the last thing she said was, "Let us begin." Do you say anything yet, Tesh, or do you kind of like wait a minute?
I'll wait.
Okay. She looks at you and says, "Unless I'm mistaken, you are Valrin of Valorin."
Part of that is correct, at least as far as I know. I've been out of the loop for a little while, apparently.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what confuses you.
I was unconscious for some time, I believe.
You were unconscious for some time, yes. Do you not know where it is that you're from?
No, I know where it is I am from, but I know things have had to likely proceed in my absence given situations that have arisen elsewhere, and now this.
She says, I understand that. You just seem to be... It doesn't matter. You are safe now. Anne's doing fairly well, if I might add. How do you feel?
Fine now. Though I do wish to get back in the loop, as I said.
Of course. You feel well physically, mentally? Do you feel sound?
Tested would be the term.
Tested why?
In that everything that has happened, I wish to return to my duties in worship.
You are a leader who cares for your country and your people, and you wish
Yes.
to return to them.
Very much so.
I'm glad to say that we've provided an opportunity for you to be able to do that. Do you know what it was that you faced?
I have been told a witch of some kind that redirected one of your people's spells.
Confused you for one of us. I can see why, she says, looking to your more prominent features. You're young, but you still have features.
Indeed.
Do you harbor any ill will towards us because of a mistake that was made by another?
Not ill-willed, I think that is the wrong term. Frustration, maybe.
Frustration over saving you.
No. Over keeping me here once I was saved. I understand why, which is why there's no ill will.
You were half starved. You're too weak to mount a horse. Too weak to chew your food properly.
As I said, I understand why, but aid could have been sent for. It is a situation where I understand your motives, I understand the reason why, and thus, no, as I said, no ill will. It does not change the fact that personally I would have liked to have gone home.
Well, unfortunately, had you left, you likely would have died. Roads are perilous these days, especially considering news that we've heard recently. I have a question for you. Are you a faithful man?
I am, not quite in the traditional sense, more in a sense of my actions and the actions that I've seen done by those who I'm faithful to.
We can speak plainly. It's very clear whose sigil you wear on your person.
Then the actions that I do and the actions of the martyr and what I have seen her do.
I understand that watching miracles transpire certainly would make even the most faithless person become pious indeed.
Indeed.
Why is it that someone who worships forgiveness and love, why is it that such a person would harbor such hate in their heart?
Hate would not be the right word. And are you suggesting that I hate you and your people?
If hate is not the right word, ire, animosity. You choose your pronoun? You choose your word.
I would much rather have met with my other halves. Well, other thirds more. This is, you have me at a loss. You have your whole court here, whereas mine is not. We
Other
are
halves. Big gay marriage.
we are all parts of a whole. We all have our role to play and our benefits and our detriments. How it is that I imagine you serve specifically different roles, and the reason why you have three. I'm sure some of yours are better at some things than others, and so on and so forth. I do not hold ill will, and I do not hold ire. I am just frustrated at the circumstances and with how I work. I have forgiven those that are involved. I just have to have a healthy sense of skepticism about everything because of things I have seen in these lands and things I have learnt in these lands. I hold no hate.
You don't. You don't hold hate, ire, animosity, or any other ill will towards worshippers of Lady Aravel Darkeyes simply because they share a faith not the same as yours. And will go so far as to excommunicate them, if not kill them, outright, for their actions being simply faith. To the person they've seen the miracles performed by, and so have had their heart won from.
I personally hold no hate. That being said, I know of situations that have led others to have hate for good reason. We are open about our laws. We give those who disobey those laws a chance to, well, we gave them a chance to either choose to leave, choose to change their ways, and so forth. We are open about the laws. We would never, well, we don't exactly execute people because there was a misunderstanding.
I can imagine not. That would just be evil, wouldn't it? Now, when it comes to laws, such ridiculous laws, one could be excused if it was understood that this was an old tradition from times long past. The laws haven't caught up to the culture, people's open-mindedness, acceptance of others, free spirits weren't embraced in the modern day in accordance to modern text. However, you are a new nation, less than a year old, and you have laws as draconian as I've ever seen in Paradel.
When people who worship your faith inflict wrongs on others, even if you're not involved, generally that results in ill will with individuals. You must know clearly about the others that worship your faith. You must know that certain things happen in those situations, usually involving slaves.
So, an entire religion is supposed to be judged by a handful of its members, or even go so far as to say half of its members, just for argument's sake. Everybody else is supposed to have a judgment cast upon them? Very well, let's look at your own nation. The martyr. Nobody has ill will towards the martyr, aside from a fool. It's forgiveness, embrace. The name chosen of the hearth is an aptly chosen name for someone who is such a devout worshipper after seeing her miracles. How about somebody who is to worship Winifred Orenda? There are certainly worshippers of Winifred that have done unspeakable things. And how about Vrogar or Vrogar Waruk, depending on which blood you spill? Should we not cast judgment upon every person that worships that faith? Is that not the favorite god of the orcs that come marauding out of the barren lands every some centuries or so? Should we not just cast them all out of our kingdoms or hang them from a noose simply because that's who they identify with? It seems as though maybe 2/3 of your faith are just as guilty as ours.
Having the conversation we are having right now this way is unfair. We are talking about two individuals who are not here and their own gods.
I'm talking about your entire kingdom. Are you not responsible for your kingdom?
Yes.
Well, then let's proceed. Is the fact that there are 3 people in this room intimidating to you?
No.
Are you sure? 2 of them are sitting, and one of them isn't even a ruler.
If you'd wanted me dead, you would have killed me already. That is not what I am talking about.
You are not only going to survive this day, but you're going to be brought unharmed, with a full belly, and comfortably back to your own realm.
So I have been told. At least, eventually. I would much prefer to have this discussion with the full parties involved here. We are triumvirate. We are not a single ruler above the others.
I understand. You're a little flushed, so removed from the world. You're incapable of speaking on behalf of your people, and the other two. I understand. The ire does not come from you directly, and you wish not to take punishment for something that, even if social, for something that you did not decide upon.
More, I wish for you to do the convincing to others, if that is what you're trying to do.
Convince what and how?
You are talking in specific words and specific phrases in to play on something I have already at least partially felt. You were talking about judging all of those under one faith. Of course, I am the one that in those situations fought for lighter hands in situations where otherwise it would not have been so light. But at the same time, if someone broke your laws, after being told those laws very clearly, what would you do?
All of our laws are to be upheld to the T. Everybody knows this. If there is a draconian or an archaic law, then we would also approach that law and look to make adjustments to it as is appropriate. Now, I understand yours is a newly formed law. Perhaps the ink hasn't fully dried, and there is an opportunity for you to smudge a few of the words. I understand your perspective. This wasn't your decision, but you have to uphold the will of the other two.
I understand why it is. That it's not. It is not a situation where I am the one to tell, but I trust Rayrin and one, who I'm sure you already know the names of.
Names, of course. Looks, sort of. Heard the voices, met them in person? Absolutely not.
I trust them, and I trust their opinions, and I trust their reasoning. That is the reason why there are 3 of us instead of 1. Shush. Sorry. Their faces in the side are distracting. I need to put something up in the way.
3 of us instead of... Oh.
Yeah. It's so hard to talk without making puns because of his name.
It is.
It really is. Anyway, back in character. While I am forgiving, I am often too forgiving. And that is why I have the others.
She will actually think about that for like a solid 30 seconds or so. And then nods. And you can imagine it's literally your, the martyr. Chosen the martyr, chosen the hearth. You know what I mean? It's one of those, she has to swallow that pill. It makes the most logical sense. You know what I mean? So she thinks for another, like after that nodding, she does think for a couple extra moments, kind of like, swallowing everything down. She then looks to Cedric and says, Cedric, could you please repeat the report that you had said to me just yesterday? Yes. He stands up and says, we have seen that they're chosen of the blade and chosen of the quill, riding out of Kurzfall. They had ridden out on many steeds with many of their soldiers and other persons. The colors are not fully known to us. We believe they are Varen because they were heading considerably east. They're heading to the road. We don't have anybody looking outwards as far as Rid, so we don't know if they were heading further east than that. We believe the 2 of them are heading out towards Varen in an attempt to garner faith of Varen, in an attempt to settle the Orsugo problem going out that way. She looks to you and says, do you know of this Orsugo?
I was about to say, how much of this would I have known before, from when I wasn't here, before I disappeared?
I believe the mention of Orsugo was literally said the last meeting you were at before you left. But you didn't know anything about them. You just knew that there was bandits kind of forming up in that area. And that was like all you knew. I don't think you even knew the name.
Okay.
But you could put Varen...
No. When we
bandits
were
aside
told
Varen.
of him, we were told of the name.
Oh, okay, then there you go. So then you did have the name back then. So it's kind of like fuzzy because how long ago it was. But
Yeah,
you do actually know the name.
Bandits, Baron, got it. Okay.
Orsugo, yep.
So what did she say?
So she more or less has that report set in front of you, and she's not really looking at him. She's more looking at you as he finishes the report, saying more or less XYZ. Their people watched your 2 other rulers heading to the east with a bunch of soldiers.
Clearly, they are there to take care of the bandit problem.
Indeed they are. I believe that this is true. I told you that I will deliver you safely home to your lands, unharmed, with a full belly. I want this information put before you because I would like to make an offer to you. To you, chosen of the hearth, 1/3 of the rulers of Valoran.
It does a little like nod, like okay.
Take our aid.
Oh, I personally am having this reaction. Valron would pause and just sort of think.
How long does he pause for? Is it a few moments, upwards of a minute? Like about how long?
He would make it obvious he's still listening if she has more to say, but he would be thinking.
So after a long pause, she would interject and say, Cedric here is my commander. He has been filling in for some time for Wilhelm, my high priest, who was handling situations elsewhere. Wilhelm has returned in the evening and is resting up this morning, which is why you have not met him. However, Wilhelm will be taking his post back, and Cedric is freed. I would like to offer Cedric to go with you, bring his troop with you, to aid in this fight. You will have command of the troop, with Cedric's guidance. After the battle is won, and you are safely returned home, with a full belly, then they will part ways. They'll head back to our home, and you may commune with yours.
Just gonna do one of these. Did it roll? It's not rolling on mine.
It did. Since
Rolled a fat 20. You actually rolled an 18, but
Yep.
sorry, that may have been misleading.
I'm just gonna reroll. I've been word vomiting this entire time, and it's finally had its toll.
So you're judging her. So it's judging like clearly you don't think she's lying to you. There's obviously a motive here, but it's pretty apparent. It's pretty apparent what the motive is. Like, you're wrong, and I'm going to prove you wrong for all your reasons. She's a pretty straightforward person.
Yeah. It's a matter of where. Oh. I myself need to think for a second about how to proceed with this.
Please,
this is...
while you think, I'm going to bring it back down to the other 2.
Thank you.
I'll give you about 5 minutes. So going to the 2 of you, back across the battlefield, again, across the many fields, the forests, the river, whatnot, over to Valoran, that very large and spread out town. You guys have all of your soldiers that have been preparing for some time. And when I say soldiers, I want to put a heavy air quote in there on soldiers. These are farmers. And
Some are soldiers, some are militia.
they're all militia, really. The only soldiers are the ones that you brought here.
Yeah.
So your farmers, your cattlemen and women, that have been trained to use some recently crafted or otherwise procured spears. They're nervous. They're incredibly nervous. However, you gave your speeches, I believe, the day prior to the battle, the evening prior to the battle.
So it was just this morning.
Just this morning.
It was first night. We came in. They were in a field. We delivered our speeches. We rolled like 30s and 20 somethings and other 20 somethings. And
okay, yeah, it was ridiculous.
They're champion at the bit.
Why don't I look at those exact numbers? So, looking at those numbers. Let's see, we had knowledge, history, that's Valorant, nope, going up a little bit higher.
It was 31.
There's profession
24.
soldier was a 30. Let's see, we had a 24 what?
So it was, I think it was like right near the end of the show. So it was a 31 on Rayron's diplomacy check.
Yeah.
A 24 on Leon Yeager's soldier check.
There we go.
And Jake chose to take.
24.
Yeah.
And he took a 24. That's right. That's beautiful. All right, so you guys obviously got a very, very successful there. Everybody looks, even though they're nervous and whatnot, they're still just soldiers. So you really emboldened them. You've really played up the morale, so on and so forth. They're definitely very snappy this morning. You know, I don't know if any of you guys did sports when you were younger. Sometimes you guys, you have like your practices. Sometimes you'd be prepared for your skirmishes or your actual like games, meets, whatever. And people would kind of like be a little sloppy. And sometimes you just like, the whole team was with it. Everybody was like listening to the coach perfectly. Everybody was just where they needed to be. So for some reason, everybody was just jiving well. This is one of those moments where everybody's just kind of like buzzing with energy and just kind of like feeling out the room very well. They're kind of like prepared. This morning, you start your march into the woods. The idea, if I remember correctly, is to... oh, no. Are you waiting for an attack? Or are you going to attack? Which one did you decide on?
It was... Scott, come on. Remember. Mr. Yeager suggested that it might be a good idea for us to defend.
Okay. Waiting for them to attack. That's right. Now, this is a different question. Were you looking to provoke an attack to defend against? Or were you looking to just wait? And this is...
Didn't we send out scouts?
You did send out scouts. That's right. He had chosen them and said, these are the best I could find. No, don't go. I don't expect them to necessarily return.
Did they return?
No.
Uh-oh.
So, you know, there's that thing. So the two of you are prepared. What is it specifically that the two of you are going to be doing while kind of like holding the defenses for the town? I know you don't care about the defenses so much. That's Leon Yeager and Hina's responsibility. Hinta.
Can I try and...
I got better notes than Scott.
You guys are supposed to kind of like go around to Orsugo. What were you saying, sir?
Can I try and prepare them, like the militia especially, for what is probably going to be coming at them? So pretty much like me just like raging out and just running towards them with my axe, yelling and stuff, like getting them in the mindset of this is what's coming at you.
We consider this as part of your checks that you've already been successful with.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. This is part of the training. This is part of everything else. Good to go. Specifically, your characters and your approach with Orsugo. And feel free to have a conversation with Leon about this. General Yeager. What is your tactic to be able to get to Orsugo? Obviously, General Yeager and Hinta are supposed to handle the soldiers. What is your tactic? I don't know if you have potions, scrolls, or just luck.
Yeah, I have a shit ton of potions I want to use before we engage him, like one-on-one.
Okay.
Indeed, we do have a shit ton of potions to drink. So, I think most likely, it would be the two forces engage. We know that Orsugo commands with whistles, and probably will not engage directly, given his previous actions. We'd wait for the fighting to continue for a little bit, for everyone to be stuck in, and then we'd just run around or run past Orsugo. Because if those other orcs, you know, attempt to move away from the combat they are in, they're going to be ran through with several spears.
Okay, so just want to make sure I didn't got that because I heard my wife talking through the door, so it distracted me for a second. So I understand that you're going to let them engage in your approaches to get to Orsugo. Are you also going to be engaging in the smaller fight as well, or do you want to like keep yourself laid up until you can spot and approach?
We have such an advantage in numbers, we won't be engaging in the smaller combat
Okay.
because we'll need to drink potions and whatnot.
Okay, so it's literally one of those kind of keep an eye, grab your long term, then your medium term, and then prepare to see him short term potions, and then push forward. Gotcha.
If we could use our crossbowmen as well to try and, like open up a path, if it looks like, we're having trouble getting to them, kind of thing as well.
You brought with you how many crossbow? Was it 20? How many are you willing to divvy up? And again, feel free to speak to Leon about this if you care to, or just make the decision. How many are you willing to split up for each of them, and how many do you want to keep for yourself, specifically for when it's time for them to kind of like pop out and just volley after volley clear a path for you, or soften a path for you.
5 maybe.
So you want to keep 5 crossbowmen, so one small volley for you.
I would ask Leon about the about that plan in general, just what he thinks about it.
Do you have an opinion before I go to Leon, sir, or Neil, or no?
Having 5 extra crossbowmen firing repeatedly will make a difference. I would be keen to avoid diverting them if we can. Like, that's 5 bolts every 20 seconds. That's a huge difference in a fight that lasts several minutes.
Yeah.
So you don't even necessarily have to ask Leon. If you're telling him, we want to keep 5 crossbowmen, if that's what your approach is, he'll of course agree to it. He'll just say, I'll just have to shift around where it is that I have the various soldiers, but I'll have this taken care of. And then he'll kind of
Wait, didn't Rayron just say, like, that's not a good idea?
He did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that it was a good idea to have that many aiding you in pushing forward. I'm sorry, I heard that backwards. My apologies. So then you want to keep them with the other soldiers. Okay. So then you guys.
So then we want to know Mr. Jaeger's opinion on it.
His opinion will be, first and foremost, we need to make sure that the rulers of Valorin return home safely. The fact that the 2 of them are foolhardy and brave enough to wage war on the battlegrounds with the leader of the opposing army knowing their abilities is incredible. Despite that fact, you need to get home. Whatever forces you need, I'll have them diverted to ensure your safety.
I suppose that is a point I hadn't really considered.
Of course you didn't. That's why I'm here. And he did not mean that in an insulting way or a cheeky way. He meant that in an honored way, because you guys don't think of yourselves.
Yes, I suppose you're right, Leon. Divert the 5 crossbowmen. However, once we break through, get them back onto the rest of the enemy.
He nods. And then he looks to you guys and says, truth be told, if we're keeping numbers even, perhaps I should give you 6. 7 for each company.
Sure. If that's what makes you happy, Leon, then you are more than welcome to distribute our soldiers into numbers that you find pleasing.
Of course, he's just kind of making it so 7 for this troop, 7 for that troop, and 3 for each of you. So that way he can keep you guys safe. You also note pretty quickly that when these soldiers do come over that are supposed to take command with you and hold up wherever it is that you guys are going, which we'll get to that in a moment, that specifically the 6 best crossbowmen came over to the 3 of you. Sorry, to the 2 of you. You can pick that up pretty quickly. As for where it is that the 2 of you want to hold yourself for the ambush, for the attack, do you want to stay behind your defenses and wait for an opportunity to burst through them and attack? Perhaps near the front lines, but behind the fences? Perhaps off to the side so you can skirt around, or maybe even in a farmhouse past the defenses, behind enemy lines, waiting for them to pass you, or direct otherwise?
I was sort of thinking behind the front lines. So that when the opportunity arises, we can just bolt straight forward.
Okay.
Because Orsugo is unlikely to run when he sees us approaching him.
So you stay within a safe area until it's appropriate, and then you can just have Leon and/or Hinta have their soldiers puncture the opening wound for you to pass through, and then your crossbowmen keep the way clear for you as you're charging towards him. That's sort of a technique.
That would be my instant thoughts on the matter.
Okay, beautiful. One, any changes you'd like to make?
No, I'm pretty good with the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Then the two of you are going to be held up into a house that is a two-story house that is near the lines, near where it is that they had set up the best of their tree. Like I always forget what that kind of fence is called. It's a French word where they have like a tree cut into a spike and planted into the ground that makes it so others can't really charge through them.
Do you mean palisade wall?
I think it is Palisade Wall, yeah. It might be it. No? Is it Palisade? I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Palisade is like wood wall.
No, but it's like spike, though.
I mean, they are spiky on top, but let me just Google palisade images.
Either way, so the they have you set up there, but they explicitly have it set up so that the two of you have horses, so you can use those horses to get across if need be. To ensure that you guys don't have any issues, they are going to set up 2 steps. They're going to construct quickly 2 steps over by the palisade area where you're going to be able to kind of like have the horses take like as a 2 step, sorry, like a ramp, where they can step up and jump over them on this side, hunter style riding, hop over them, and so you guys can get quicker over to Orsugo if you choose to take your horses. The reason why it's a 2nd floor building is so your archers have clean line of sight over the battlefield to be able to fire. Okay. So, anyways, unless there's anything else that you two like to do, I'm going to hand it back over to Tesh, and I expect the two of you to get together your regiment of potions that you intend to consume and the durations for each one, so you know in what order you want to drink them in case you get interrupted partway. Okay, Tesh. What was your response?
I will accept, but you must understand, given the specific situations, this will not win you any favor with the other two. It is a situation that is not mine to continue discussing, but it is mine to accept aid.
I entirely understand this will not aid the other two. And for that, I give you this. And she will reach out, the librarian will hand her a scroll. And she takes the scroll and... I'm sorry, I said he's not one of the commanders. It's actually the librarian. That's not one of the commanders that's been filling in, but that's fine. So, I said it wrong. But so, they will take the scroll and hands a scroll, like a sealed scroll case to you. So you can imagine it's actually nice leather. There is a tannery here and everything. Nice leather scroll case. Has a seal onto it. The seal is because it's like tied off. So the way, you know what a scroll case is, of course, Tesh. And the scroll cases have like the leather tie that kind of keeps it so they can't open easily. Yeah. They're like tight shut. And the wax seal is put over where it is that's knotted. So you have to break the seal to untie it to be able to open it up. And she says, "This is for the eyes of the triumvirate of Valoran. You can open it now, or you can wait till you're with the other two."
I will wait till I'm with the other two.
And she says, "I'll have you known, I have not read the contents of that. I'm excited to hear a report looking to the commander as to what it is that says."
Goddamn curiosity. Luckily, I've said what I wanted to do, and I'm not going to go back on it in front of her after just hearing something. It's whether he reads it on the road now is the real issue. But no, I'll give the nod. So what now?
Well, as I said, you have never been held captive here. We simply wish to speak to you when you had your full presence of mind. We are going to have you ride to the east, in protection, to make sure that you can join the others. However, you were dressed poorly.
How I have my normal clothes, right?
Correct, but they've been laundered and everything, but they were days and days on the road, plus a small little combat that you were in, and so on and so forth. You know, they're just not in great condition.
Wait, okay. I mean, I have prestidigitation and endure elements, so
Yep, nope, that's fine. She says, I've had something made for you. Please, return to the commander's home, where you've had your comforts provided for you. You will leave in the morning.
thank you. And it is a shame how the situation in which our nations met. For that, I apologize on my part of.
It is a shame.
And I'll bow to the other two, and leave.
She will of course kind of watch after you as you go. You don't have to say or do anything. To be clear, because I did make a little there. The commander the person that was actually subbing in as a leader right now is actually a librarian. So
Okay.
yeah. The commander had her, two of the rulers, and then the high priest was the third. But the librarian was subbing in while the high priest was handling something of significance.
Got it. Okay, yeah, got it.
So more or less, she's going to go from filling up his the high priest's role to filling up the commander's role while this person's gone.
Yeah.
So you would head back to the commander's place, and when you go in there, you'll see, of course, there has been a fresh tailored boots. I should say, shouldn't say tailored, fresh, crafted boots of your size and everything that are made for you, clearly designed for the road. There's a whole new cloak of your design that's there, freshly designed.
I'm doing this on everything, just to make sure.
Wait, what is that?
I'm doing detect magic on everything.
Oh, of course, absolutely. So you
Just
do
to
detect
make
magic.
sure.
Do me a favor, roll me a what's that, knowledge arcana?
Okay. Knowledge arcana or spellcraft?
Wait, hold on, let me check. Knowledge arcana first.
Okay.
Newly cobbled. Thank you, Norway. Knowledge arcana. You know that it's specifically the clothing. Valorant, as it is, wears a certain type of you can call it armor if you'd like, but it's called a reinforced tunic.
Yep.
So you see that there is magics put onto the reinforced tunic that she has designs there. It's again in the same likeness of what it is that you have, by crafted by somebody who's far greater skilled of a tailor. You know what I mean? And the bits of like quilt or leather that are woven in for the protective details in it are just once again far better woven in, far better designed than the one that you have. So first of all, it is of masterworked quality. For I don't think that necessarily does anything for you, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily do anything for you. But it is so light because the kind of leathers and whatnot that they use, it eliminates the spell chance failure, so you don't have the 5%. It drops to 0, and it does have abjuration magics on it, which you can roll spellcraft for.
Okay. And just for me, well, we'll see how I roll. Oh, okay.
So what it does is it has abjuration magics on it, but what you're allowed to do is you can actually use this armor to cast shield on yourself once a day. My apologies. Let me make sure I said this right. You cast shield on yourself once a day as a swift action. the shield will last 1 minute. However, the trigger to it, because you learn with your spellcraft trick, as you're weaving through the magics, is a prayer.
Oh no.
May I always be vigilant.
Oof. Oof. Noted.
But it is a swift action for a +4 shield bonus to AC. So it's like,
Okay.
That was for you, Joey.
Oof. Oh man, that is. Okay. Well, I mean,
Make sure you feel free to write that down in your notes or whatever. May I always be vigilant.
I'm writing it down.
What? May I always be vigilant. What's the matter with that line? You know what? One is such a paranoid person. You just give that to one as like a night garment. So he can go to sleep wearing that wonderful reinforced tunic. That way he's comfortable. And God forbid you guys get attacked in the middle of the night. He can protect himself. But he has his armor, Vrogar, for the day, right?
Okay.
Little lady Arathel at night.
Fuck off, Scott.
How do I? It's been so long. How do I actually put this armor on and thus get rid of my?
Oh no! Just modify yours.
Yeah, found it. I was trying. It's been so long since I've adjusted my armor that I forgot where the section was.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's a lifesaver.
Oh yeah, no, it's something that is useful. The swift action is nice, but because I know shield, it's not. I can hold off on using it until I'm dead, life or death situation. We will see.
Or you want to use your standard action doing something better.
Don't tempt me. Stop. Yeah, so I guess I would then, once I'm 100% sure going through it that there's not any sort of like tracking, any sort of divination, anything like that, nothing.
That one little bit of after. Oh, there is one more thing. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah.
You also have crafted for you a finely crafted bastard sword. So this is a finely crafted bastard sword, definitely of master quality, so on and so forth. It actually looks very similar, like a decent quality knockoff of the same bastard sword that you saw with the Vigil herself.
Yeah.
However, in the place of where it has the sigil of Lady Aravel, it has the sigil of the Martyr. But it is a good quality knockoff. It's just hers is a much better sword. Hers was crafted a long time ago by a far greater smith.
Hers is a bona fide artifact.
Yeah, hers is a powerful item. Yeah.
That's a big one to try and carry. That's like he goes to pick it up, just. Nope.
Yeah, how much does it weigh? 6 pounds? I think, or 4 pounds.
But I thought my bastard sword's gigantic.
Well, I mean, they're bigger than long swords, but 6 pounds. Yeah, 6 pounds.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. That's still big though.
So historically, the definition between bastard sword and longsword is pretty wavy. Longsword is a two-handed sword.
Yep.
Yeah.
A bastard sword is a two-handed or sometimes one-handed, but typically two-handed.
Yep.
But there's no set definition between the two.
Yeah. No, it's literally a construct of D&D.
So,
yeah,
my brain had linked it to Claymore, and there's no fucking way that Valorant is picking up a Claymore.
Oh no! That's a great sword. Yeah, it's literally one of those. It's a D&D constructs that longsword is a one-handed and bastard sword is a 1.5-handed because it can be used two-handed without a feat or one-handed with a feat.
Okay. Well,
assuming you have martial weapon proficiency, you're not proficient with either.
No. It's a symbol is what it is, and that's exactly what she intended it for. So.
I'll have you know, unfunny one, out of all of my brothers, I'm the only one that was neither conceived nor born outside of wedlock. I'm the only one that was both conceived and born within wedlock. Thank you very much,
And yet,
sir.
you're still a bastard.
Well, you know, some people are born with it. Some people have to try. Right? Right.
Okay, well, then I think that's my...
Scott Snow. You know nothing, Scott Snow.
That was a terrible
that
accent,
was
Scott
terrible. That was
Smith.
horrible. Oh my
Scott
god. That was...
Snow.
I just want to see if... Yep, okay, it's gone. The spell roll is gone.
Yep.
We somehow managed to never get a terrible moment fail with that spell roll.
Yep. Yep. That is...
Somehow.
Don't worry. When one takes the armor and burns it while it's still being worn by you, you can wear your other armor and go back to rolling again.
It's clothing. That's all it is, one. Just calm down.
One, can you do me a favor? Roll me a perception check.
He's somewhere. I have been betrayed.
Yeah, okay, roll me a perception check.
I have a ring of invisibility been following you around the whole time.
In that case, why didn't you just chop their head off?
Because I was trying to test you, Tesh. See where your loyalties lie.
Hey, considering who I'm faithful to, I resisted pretty fucking well.
Did you just roll my perception, Scott?
What?
He did.
No.
He did. But yeah, no, considering like the whole thing with the martyr's forgiveness and the situation that he himself was not too happy with originally, he's
No, dude, you've been actually like great. Like watching this, how you've acted with them, and I'm actually pretty happy with. It's not like you could go "fuck you" and then they just go.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, though, like weirdly enough, that was a situation where he wasn't concerned about himself at all. Like, if they kill me, then you come and wipe them off the map. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't what he was worried about. He was more worried about causing a war between us when there might not need to be one.
So to finish that up, you go home. All that stuff is prepared for you. It's more or less what you're wearing now. Same exact outfit, but crafted by people that know what they're doing. It's like the difference between swinging by like a Walmart to get, you know, jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie, and going to like Burberry, where you're not just paying for the brand name, you're actually paying for quality shit that's not going to last you a year or two. It's going to last you 8 or 9 years, unless you're bad with your clothes, right? You're like getting.
It's probably still made in Cambodia though.
Oh, I mean, to be clear, it's just they beat their servants and pay them less. So you know,
They import
exactly.
from
yeah.
Parendale. They import from Parendale.
Imported from Paradise. Made in Paradise tag on everything.
Now, specifically, have I this level looked at the quarterstaff and had to try it discerning what it is this level? Because I know we leveled up and then nothing happened, so...
Go ahead.
Chance, yeah. I figured out what the belt was, but I never figured out what the quarterstaff was. So, spellcraft?
I believe that is.
Yeah,
what it
actually,
is.
I can ping my thing. Researching the blot. Yes. Okay, spellcraft. Hey, well, it's at least better than a 20.
I mean, unfortunately, it's not another good roll.
Oh, you know what I could do? Mm-hmm. I could test our luck pool for today.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I really want to know what this is, and I have to wait another level if I fail. So
he's very, very gently saying, "Boys, let me do this shit."
Do it.
Ooh.
Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to find which one it is.
Only one die left, though. That's unfortunate.
I had it written down a long time ago. What was that?
Only one die left, though, so we gotta be aware of that. At least we know now.
1 second. I must find this again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has, because I kept fucking failing. At the one thing I'm supposed to do well, I kept failing miserably.
I can't find where it is. I mean, I know more or less what it is, but I can't find out exactly which one. Because I know it's this, but it's not exactly this. So just give me one more second to finish looking, okay? So sorry.
No worries. If you want, you can give that to me like on a break if we're going back to the others.
No, because it's very exciting because it's been how many freaking sessions? I want to be able to.
It's been a while.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to make you wait. Aside from this moment, so was this it?
I don't want to make you wait. Proceeds to make you wait.
Yeah, apart from this moment.
There it is.
I assume it's going to pop in on...
No. It's not necessarily going to pop. So it is called the Staff of Curses.
Ooh.
It is a +1/+1 staff, so +1 chance to hit and damage. But it says +1/+1 because you can use it as a double weapon if you want to. And if you'd like, you can actually expend one charge, because it has charges, because it's a staff. I'll get to that in a second. You can spend one charge to cause that creature, whenever you strike it to a target, you can expend one charge. Wait, is music not playing? Play music.
Professional.
No. One of my music stopped and the other one didn't start up again. There we go. My daughter's making raw noises in the background. So, what is it? Once you hit a target, you can expend one charge to cause a creature to become cursed for a number of rounds equal to the number of charges remaining in the staff, which is cool. It's a depreciating ability. So that could be like...
Say that again, sorry. So that was expected to cause a curse?
Hold on. I'm going to copy-paste that for you.
Yes, please. I was trying to keep up and then my brain got confused. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
While the curse persists, the creature takes a -2 penalty to saving throws cast from the staff, from spells cast to staff, and a -2 AC to any attacks from the attack. So I'll copy paste that one for you too.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, cool. So that's the effect. But the staff also has another ability, and that is, or say other abilities. Give me one moment. This is what else the staff does. This is the Staff of Curses. Those spells can be cast using those charges. However, how many charges are in the staff? I'm going to leave this one to you, Jake. Roll me 5d10.
5d10.
Si, senor. "28 charges exist in the staff still."
It's pretty good.
Damn. Okay. So one thing that I'm not quite grasping, just because my brain is slow today, that I get that the curse for the charges remaining for, like the part with the penalty to saving throws and DC. It's got blindness, deafness, ill omen, and baleful polymorph, and bestow curse. Are those all separate from the rest of it, or?
The way those work is those are all spells that can be cast at caster level 9. And you have to expend the amount of charges listed there to use that spell.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. I will copy those down properly then.
There's one more small feature. You notice when you finally finish your identifying this thing, detecting the magic of this thing, so on and so forth, that this staff is still cursed. It's the Staff of Curses. It has never truly 100% been broken, even if the curse in the lands and the keep and blah, blah, blah hasn't broken. And that curse extends to you. The staff is more or less cursed to you. You cannot willingly give up this staff.
Okay.
And you identify that now. You are cursed with this staff. Without somebody breaking that curse, it cannot be given up by you. You love this staff. You want it with you. You didn't know that before because it was never a factor before. I've never forced it upon you.
But now you start licking it. You're just like, oh.
You just sit there, and while you're in meetings, you're just sitting there and like holding the staff, like
making direct eye contact with someone. Just.
And that's why there's 11 viewers.
Is there any way to recharge it, or is that just how much charges it has permanently?
Yep, there is a way to recharge it. To recharge the staff, somebody has to have the ability to, has the feat craft staff, but they also have to have access to all the spells involved in crafting the staff. But they also have to have, the curse cannot be linked to you at the time that they craft it. They would have to break the curse from you, have all the requisites, can put charges back into it, and then maybe the curse can be rejoined to you, maybe not. There's more to that curse than what I've told you, but we don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll leave it there. Is fine.
Yeah, just forget about it.
Oh yeah, that's well, probably won't come back like something else we've totally forgotten and just sort of.
Yeah,
left
definitely it won't.
around.
Like, why would anything like that ever come back to haunt you?
Yeah, no, not at all.
The last
Okay,
thing I'll
let's-
say, because this is something that is a factor that you guys probably don't know from or these earlier editions, when the last charge of the staff is expended, so the 0 left, the staff
Right.
becomes inert.
Oh, it becomes a note. Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah.
It just becomes a gnarly looking staff.
Including the curse that is on Valrin currently.
That's a really good question.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
that was
it becomes inert.
not necessarily the way he
It's
said it.
supplying the magic for that curse. When it's dead, it's dead.
It might.
So
yeah,
rules
we'll see.
I.
So rules I. Okay, fine. We'll discuss this at a later date.
So
Yes, I finally know what it is. Finally.
finally identify the staff. Good job, Boyo. You get onto a horse the next morning. You're like, I'm totally good at riding. I'm the best at this. And you end up leaving the camp with no fewer than 5 dozen soldiers.
Fucking.
And the commander. Each one of them is on foot and marching east. You guys, of course, you and the commander on horseback, as well as his 3 lieutenants on horseback. So the 5 of you, all heading east, northeast specifically. And with that, we are going to take our first break. As a reminder, I don't think I said this to chat, but I did say it to you guys, we're going to be ending about 10 minutes early. I have my daughter's orientation for her school today. So her new school, because, poor kid keeps switching so freaking often. I feel bad for her. So we're going to be ending about 10 minutes early later on. So we're going to take our first break now, and we'll come back shortly. Bye, everybody. Bye. Don't go anywhere.